back to the Guy Dawson Show on WCOBM. Please keep in mind that you can send messages on the chat line. Guy is talking to us from his Santa boot camp, and he said we look amazing. I guess we sound good too, I hope.
Yes.
Otherwise, we're all just here to be pretty.
Well, we do that effortlessly, though.
Exactly. Yes. So, I'm Cheryl Green. We've got Raquel Sharper here. We've got Kathy Klesch. We have a full house. And Ken Walls. And we are talking about payback. That sounds bad when it's taken out of context. And how we're helping out children in the community.
Yeah, basically, payback is for those of us business professionals or retired professionals that are choosing to pay back to our community and give back to those young people because they are the future. And without them, it creates that bridge. So it's a good program, and it is sponsored by Clark County School District.
That's phenomenal. And before we had gone on the commercial break, we were talking about the triggers that causes children to take the wrong path instead of the right way.
Yeah, there's a multitude of different triggers, and a lot of them could be either behavioral, environmental, and then some are just individualized triggers. And we don't want to lump all of them into groups because each individual has their own individualized triggers. So what most people do is they look for what happens after the fact.
Right.
They see the behavior, what's exhibited, and then they address that part of the problem. Now, we need to start doing is if we can identify the trigger of what made that individual do that, then it will not be a repetitive event. We call that like a relapse prevention plan, something you can put into place that works cognitively with each individualized child, the teachers, and then it filters into the home because the parents have to be a integral part of the process being successful.
So that's very true, and that you talk about the parents. Like when I was growing up, both of my parents went to work, right? So there was the recipe for disaster in the Sharper household. I had quite the interesting childhood. I'll have to talk about. That's a whole show all by itself. Maybe a series. It might be. It actually could probably be an HBO series or a Showtime series. But anyway, lots of things go on when the parents aren't home, and I learned that at a very young age. So I was blessed to learn that. So when I became a parent, I was all over my daughter. I was like, oh no, and I kept her busy. She had, outside of school, she had 25 hours to 30 hours a week of extracurricular activities. I was tired. She was tired, and it was like she became goal orientated. Right. We just set that in stone. So the parents are definitely a very important part of that. And what I learned as being a single parent is you have to rely on your community. And what I would do is when I got my daughter involved in sports, I would find somebody like Kathy who's also she would be a cheer mom. Hey, listen, I'm busy tonight. Are you busy? No. And then she would take the kids, and then we would share our children. We all just became one big family. So it helps. The community, a village still takes a village to raise
that child.
Yes, and you're part of the village, Ken.
Yeah, you have to. It goes beyond just being the responsibility of the individualized parent. We are all in this together, and like I said, my children are all adults now. Right. But now I'm reaching back because someone asked me, because my level of commitment to the program was so intense. They were asking me. They thought because these children were not my biological children, they would be more on an esoteric level. Right. I said no. It is. These are the world's children, and I have to remind each and every child that I speak to, they're a success just waiting to happen. Yeah.
They're a miracle, right? Yeah. Yes.
They have the seeds of greatness implanted in them. And I tell them, when you show up to the school is the soil. The soil that grows. The teachers are the water. And you put that together, the germination process begins and the growth begins. And each and every one of them needs to be reminded. These young people, with all the social media and all the things that draw away from the individuality of these young people, we have to remind them each and every day. Not on a cursory level, but on a one-on-one. You look that child in the face and say, you're special, and you are a success. And with building, you're going to be successful. Right. That's the most important part, and that's the key. If you can't stop, you can't think, well, I told them yesterday.
Yeah. I think it's very important that someone is giving these kids those messages, because a lot of times they're not getting them at home. And you talk about how important the parents are and the messages that they're hearing. But sometimes you need a person to come in from the community and counteract what the parents have said.
And that's true. I've been seeing a lot of that where, like Raquel said, a lot of the parents are out of the home. They're working, and these other dynamics are all going on. It takes more than just saying, okay, this parent does all they can. You need to help out.
Right.
That village, that was something. I was born and raised in Philadelphia, back east, and we believed in a neighborhood raising the child.
Yeah.
I had parents. I had a neighborhood full of parents. They were
Yeah.
all looking out for me and making sure that I was well nourished, because children learn better when nourished.
Right.
My mindset was, I wasn't worried about, okay, did I have books? Did I have the proper equipment? And then when I came home, I knew that if my mother and father weren't there as far as knowing what I was doing for homework, I had a parent somewhere in the neighborhood who was a school teacher, someone that could reach out and assist me. And that was, you can't put a financial attachment to that. That's real. And kids remember that. Kids won't remember when you buy them this $10 toy, this $50 toy, but they do remember the time. that you spend
Time
with
is
them.
time is your most precious commodity, and it's funny because when I go back east to visit family and friends, I was over at my friend's house, and her daughter was struggling with her math homework, and my friend's like, I don't know how to do that stuff, and then I sat down, and nor did my friend have the patience. She was tired, so I sat down with her daughter, and I helped her out with the math. Now, for the child, now forever, I spend an hour with her.
Yeah.
She gets an A. She calls me. She calls me TT Rock. She's a TT Rock. I got an A. And she'll always let me know how she's doing in school. She knows that when she sees me, I'm going to ask her how well she's doing.
Right.
And even though I'm 3,000 miles away, she knows I'm holding her accountable to that.
We're laughing. Guy is writing into the chat
he's
line.
reporting back to Santa Claus on us.
Have all of you been naughty or nice this year?
Yeah, that's good because I've been naughty, so I deserve the pink Lamborghini. She's been nice, so she gets the red Corolla.
The Ken's been nice, but he's taking care of kids.
Can you be naughty and still get nice stuff?
Yeah,
I
I
think
just
so,
asked
yeah,
for the pink
yeah.
Lamborghini, and
Absolutely.
I'll be good some other day.
one nice day a week. Just give us one.
That's all you need.
The other 6 we can be naughty.
There we go.
So, if people want to get involved, I had the opportunity to do one of the payback days, and it was absolutely amazing. It was just so fulfilling to be able to help the kids and to get the feedback that I think it helped. I hope it helped. How can people get involved if they want to?
I actually, there's an individual by his first name is Kurt. He works with the Clark County School District. You can get in contact with him or it's Payback, Paybac, not K. Payback program in the Clark County, their directory, and it will come up. And then the other programs that we're working within, the secondary program that I'm working with, which is Brothers, we're going to be established here. We're going to have our material out here really soon.
Great.
It's more geared towards affecting giving the opportunity for these young people to focus on the educative process.
Okay.
Payback, we're actually going back and showing these young people that those in the business community, we do care.
Right.
But with Brothers program, what we're attempting to do is identify and make it clear the problems that they're having, so they can get through that murky abyss, because that's the tough part, being able to focus on the educative process. But you have to see through the social issues, the emotional issues, all the things that make these young people.
Right.
They're young people, and the issues they have today aren't even close to what we went through. Ours were pretty simple.
Yes.
So we have to take that dynamic into account. So that's what we're doing. And there's lots of resources that are out there. If you look for them, they'll find you.
Okay. I like that.
They'll find
But it's
you.
true. It's about attraction.
Yeah.
Right. When you start asking the more empowering question, when you start saying, "Hey, I want this. How do I find it?" It finds you. You're 100% right.
It will find you.
Right.
And it's got to be a labor of love. It's got to be something you enjoy doing. There's enough of us out here with the organization Brothers. We didn't even have to vet each other. We knew that observing each other and our levels of commitment, they approached me and said, "We know you're going to be the right guy for this job." Now, we all have our own individualized fortes and what we feel our strengths versus our weaknesses. So we lean on each other. But our commitment is singular, in the same way that it's all about the kids, and we can't forget that.
It is.
That's true. It's all about the kids. They are our future.
That is affirmative.
So how do they get in touch with Brothers if they want to be a part of that?
Well, we're trying to establish our website. We're still very young in our establishment, and we've just started getting something more cognitive together. I would like to be able to, reply to her on her Facebook page, and once we get we're going to establish a Facebook page, and we're building a site and everything right now. So once we get that off and rolling, we'll definitely want that to be out to the community. Because
so when would you project like something like that would be available for them to find? So for 2017, they should look in the first quarter.
First quarter.
Okay.
By the first
That's it,
quarter,
by the
we're
first
moving.
quarter.
We're rolling out
Excellent.
really functional, because the school district has been approaching us with this. So it gives us puts the fire up under us to make us move.
Awesome. We are going to head to another commercial break. Kathy, Ken, thank you so much for being
you.
on the show. Have a wonderful holiday, and we will be back with you in just a few moments.